अगर आज मनीष सिसोदिया जी, सत्येंद्र जैन जी, तेजस्वी यादव, संजय राउत, फारूक अब्दुल्ला, के कविता, ये तमाम नेता अगर अपनी अपनी पार्टियां छोड़कर भारतीय जनता पार्टी में शामिल हो जाते हैं तो इन पर जितने मुकदमे चल रहे हैं वो तमाम मुकदमे बंद हो जाएंगे।
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी, विजय नायर से आपके रिश्ते क्या हैं? क्या एक्साइज पॉलिसी बनाने में और जब ये पॉलिसी बन रही थी क्या वहां पर विजय नायर मौजूद थे?
Good evening. You're watching the Super Saturday debate here on CNN News 18. I'm Ridhima Bhatnagar. From the Lickygate scam to the land for job scam, trouble seems to be mounting for opposition leaders from Manish Sisodia to K Kavitha to Tejasvi Yadav. For Delhi's former Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, there are currently two agencies looking into the charges against him against allegations of getting kickbacks to the tune of hundreds of crores. The Enforcement Directorate has also managed to get his custody for 7 days till the 17th of March. Now, it's not just Manish Sisodia who's under the scanner of the Enforcement Directorate, but BRS MLC K Kavitha, who was also summoned and then eventually questioned for over 8 hours today. Today, the CBI also summoned Bihar's Deputy Chief Minister Tejasvi Yadav in the land for job scam. Now, while the opposition has been saying that agencies continue to be misused for political vendetta, agencies continue to rely on evidence. So is this politics or persecution? Well, we will take that question to our guests in just a bit, but first some breaking developments coming in. As we pointed out, you had BRS MLC K Kavitha, who was summoned by the agencies and then questioned. We're now understanding that questioning has ended after 8.5 hours. The Enforcement Directorate, but once again has some K Kavitha for the 16th of March. So it doesn't look like that the trouble is ending for the BRS or their MLC K Kavitha. My colleague Anshul now joining us on the broadcast. So Anshul, the questioning is ended after 8 long hours, but there is once again a summon for the 16th of March. So quickly tell our viewers what the line of questioning was and why the next summon for 16th of March.
Well, if you see, there are a lot of allegations that have been made against K Kavitha in that charge sheet that was filed by the Enforcement Directorate, and the kind of statements that have been made by the associates of K Kavitha themselves. And hence, K Kavitha was today, in fact, what we are being told was, in fact, confronted with some sort of evidences that the ED has been able to collect till now. And after that, since the entire thing went on for more than 8 hours, it became practically impossible for the ED to go on with the interrogation. And hence, the Enforcement Directorate has yet again decided to summon K Kavitha again on the 16th of March itself. What we are being told is that more evidences will be confronted with K Kavitha, especially the statements that have been made by her aides by her aides like Arun Ramchandra Pillai and Buchi Babu. As Buchi Babu has already said that K Kavitha was actually had a meeting with Manish Sisodia as well, and in that meeting they reached on some sort of political understanding as well. So yes, all these evidences and the statements were put in front of K Kavitha. She was confronted with those statements. Her remarks were noted down by the Enforcement Directorate, and since there are more questions that the ED has still prepared, and there are more questions that the ED is seeking answers to, and that is the reason why that K Kavitha has yet again been summoned on the 16th of March to join into the investigation yet again.
Okay, Anshul, we'll leave the conversation there. Thanks a lot for getting us all those details. Let's also now bring in our guest to take this conversation forward. We have the BJP spokesperson, Tom Vadakkan. We have the spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, Abhinandita Mathur. We'll shortly be joined by the spokesperson of the BRS, Krishank Mane. We also have an advocate from the Supreme Court, Ashwini Dubey. Good to have all of you on the broadcast with us. Abhinandita, I'd like to begin the conversation with you. While various opposition parties have joined together and said that this is misuse of agencies, this is vendetta politics, this is a witch hunt, that argument doesn't seem to be cutting ice as far as any of the agencies are concerned. It's not just Manish Sisodia, where the ED has managed to get an extension of his custody till the 17th of March. Even the BRS MLC K Kavitha, who was questioned today for over 8 hours, has been summoned once again because the ED is very sure that there are enough lapses and they'll be able to nab those lapses in the coming time.
Right, and none of this is surprising, isn't it? Look, there are two aspects. Give me a moment to
Sure.
explain myself. There are two aspects to this. One aspect is the legal aspect, and the other aspect is the political aspect. In a democracy, when law, the boundaries of law and the boundaries of politics, when these dilute, it is a very, very dangerous sign, and we should be very scared. Why I say this is because it is very clear to everybody today that there is a selective kind of targeting. You look at the list of people that ED in the political spectrum that ED and CBI are going after. And despite several allegations on, BJP ministers themselves, there is obviously no sign of CBI or ED, there. So clearly there is a selective vendetta there. We have no problem in, making this allegation.
So,
and making this,
Abhinandita, I heard you. I understand the point that the opposition leaders have been making, that how come only opposition leaders are being targeted.
No,
but one second, would you also have to look at the kind of evidence and the kind of case that is being made by the Enforcement Directorate? They're not questioning just Manish Sisodia. They're questioning people across political parties and other corporates and others as well, because they feel there were lapses as far as the policy was concerned. They're very simple questions that are being asked. That important, crucial file, nobody knows where that file today is. If there is nothing to hide, or Manish Sisodia was never involved as far as his Liquorgate scam is concerned, he should at least be able to point a finger to where that file is. There is no clear answer on that. As far as various calls that have been made to other accused in this case, there is no clarity on that. Then why should the agencies not go forward and continue to question these people?
Right, let me explain. Now, this case was first filed against Mr. Sisodia by the CBI. After almost a year of searching, from his wife's jewelry locker to bank locker to, his village to his residence, they have not been able to find a penny. The CBI had taken custody, and the day that it was just about to get over, steps in the ED, who has not summoned Mr. Sisodia before this. You have to understand that unlike the CBI, where the burden of proof is on the agency, here the burden of proof is on the accused. And that is a very, very tricky situation. If I'm curating this attack on the opposition, I know what to play when. You put in the CBI is not able to find anything. Then you bring in ED. These are all very, very serious pressure tactics. And we've seen these things during the emergency.
But Abhinandita, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. And it becomes very convenient, Abhinandita, one, to question the intent and the merit of the agency. Secondly, we're also questioning the role of the courts here, because the courts also seem to be seeing merit as far as the arguments of agencies like the ED is concerned. Otherwise, that extension wouldn't have been granted, and you would agree with that point. But let me bring in Tom Vadakkan. One sec. Let me bring in Tom also in the conversation. Now, Tom Vadakkan, the point that is being made not just by the Aam Aadmi Party, by other political parties also, is that the timing of when these summons or arrest is happening is far too convenient. As far as the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, for Manish Sisodia, they're saying there was a bail hearing that was scheduled, and 24 hours prior to that, the ED arrests happened. So the questioning is, the timing is questionable. As far as BRS is concerned, they're saying K Kavitha already had a scheduled dharna for Jantar Mantar, and that's why these summons were given. Today, Tejasvi Yadav and others have said that this is a case that's been looked into in the past. So for how long is the BJP continue to use this narrative? Now, all the opposition parties seem to be coming together, asking the BJP, how come only opposition leaders are being questioned or arrested by these agencies?
Rituma, let me address the issue that the AAP spokesman has raised. The issue started on 5th February 2021 when a GOM was ordered for under the leadership of Manish Sisodia. Now, a new excise policy was brought out in which the 849 liquor shops were permitted, out of which 532 were given to private parties. A cartel formation was formulated. Now, it was not the BJP that took this matter to court. It was the Liquor Shopkeepers Association which took the matter to the court and raised the issue of cartelization and the fact that a lump sum was to be paid to the Aam Aadmi Party as revenue instead of per bottle surcharge. Now, this was an issue which was against the policy line. It was then the Delhi police went into the matter, economic wing of the Delhi police went into the matter, and subsequently found there were discrepancies and action was to be formulated. Then comes the governor, who finds this entire scam so terribly messed up that he felt that it would affect his administration's good image, and he ordered an investigation. It was after that the CBI came into the picture.
But Tom Barakan, the question that is also being raised by the opposition parties is, and in particular by the Aam Aadmi Party, that yes, okay, the agencies want to investigate these leaders, but at the end of the day, they will also need real evidence. Until now, there is no real evidence as far as any of the linkages for this money trail with Manish Sisodia is concerned, and that will be needed to continue to pursue or to prove this case.
Rithma, this is a very clever game that has been played. There have been instruments, I repeat, mobile phones worth 1.78 crores have been destroyed by the players in this game. Destruction of evidence has been a prime operator structure. In terms of the computer and the contents on the computer, which were retrieved by the agencies, have been smoking gun evidence. There is a paper trail.
So you're saying let the agencies do their work, and it's almost it's unfair to expect the agencies to also conclude an investigation in say a week or 10 days, because it's an ongoing process as of now. We also have the spokesperson of the BRS, Krishank Mane, also now joining us. And Krishank, as far as this entire allegations of the Liquorgate scam is concerned, as the news tightens on Manish Sisodia, the custody gets longer with the Enforcement Directorate, the trouble is going to be equally bad for the BRS as well, because today K Kavitha was questioned for over 8.5 hours, and if the responses would have been enough for the Enforcement Directorate, they wouldn't have summoned her once again, but they have for the 16th of March.
Well, Ridhima ji, see, based on the confessions or their interrogations or anyone's opinions or the Bharatiya Janata Party's allegations, the merits of the case do not work. At the end of the day, the trial happens in the court of law, and now ED is compelled with the pressure of the government of India that they want to frame this case. But the whole procedure right now, we are definitely proud because we faced the investigation. We have not gone to seek any relief. First time they came, the CBI came, they visited to our ground, to our state, Telangana, where we have our government, and we did not create any ruckus. Our party cadre did not trouble. CBI came, they asked their questions, they left. Today, Kavitha ji went, visited 8 hours. You see, there was one man, BL Santosh. 8 times he tried to evade sit. 8 times he tried to evade notices, investigations. But our lady, Kavitha ji, our leader, 8 hours, she faced the grilling of ED, and how many ever times they want to call us, they want to trouble us, because we know Telangana is in an election year, and this is how Modi ji wants to take on, instead of taking on KCR ji in a contest in the people's election.
But Krishank, this is the point that I was asking the spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, that we are questioning the intent of the agencies just because we have political differences as far as the ruling party is concerned. Why don't we just let the agencies finish their work? And if there is nothing found against your leader or MLCs, then you'll be the one who'll be able to tom-tom across the entire country. Why don't you let that process be complete rather than having this victim card or the same, narrative that we've heard time and again that this is vendetta politics, this is witch hunt. If the case is not proven against K Kavitha, then you'll really have the last word. Why don't you just cooperate with the agencies till then?
Ridhima ji, while we continue to respect the procedures, while we continue to face the CBI, the ED, and go answer their questions, we have every democratic right to question the harassment or the intent or the political motive by the government of India and the investigative agencies, because their rate of conviction or their success rate or their failure rate explains it all. 5,422 cases, and out of which 23. Now, will this case be on the 5,423 case, or will it come on to the 23-24 case? Will show on the commitment of the ED, because while from couple of days when we are discussing this, we do not get an answer from any Bharatiya Janata Party of leader that tell us one arrest across India, one arrest of any BJP leader who has had grave charges on him, be it from the 40% Commission Karnataka or from Y. Sujana Chowdhury or Himanta Biswa or anyone.
Okay.
Why haven't they been arrested, and why opposition leaders are trying to be arrested?
Okay.
And why do we blame it politically? Is because their language. We see BJP leaders.
So I get the point that you're making, and I've taken that question to Tom Bharat a short while ago before you joined us. One second. Tushank, I have to bring Ashwini also in the conversation.
No,
one second. Tushank, I got your point. I got the point, and that's exactly the question that I asked Tom Bharat before you joined us. That how come? 1 second, Tushank, please, appreciate it. I have other guests to bring in also. I get the point that you're making, that why come only opposition leaders are being questioned or summoned or even arrested. But I want to just bring in Ashwini also in the conversation. Now, Ashwini, the argument that is being made by various spokespersons of the opposition parties are, and specifically as far as the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, that, Manish Sisodia is not being looked into for the first time. Today we heard Tejasvi Yadav also saying that he's not being looked into first time. But just speaking as far as Manish Sisodia and the Liquorgate scam is concerned, while the agencies feel that they will reach the money trail and they'll be able to crack the nexus, they'll still need real evidence to prove their case as far as the court is concerned. So the opposition is asking for how long can you continue to misuse the agencies with no real evidence?
Thank you, Ridhima, for having me here. We live in a country which is ruled by law. A rule of law is prevalent here. Now let's look up at the Money Laundering Act 2002, Supreme Court's upholding it, and what it says. It says a person directly or indirectly involved, attempts or knowingly assists and is a party to any such activity which deals with the proceeds of crime. Means the acquisition, concealment, possession or use of proceeds of crime fall under the definition of money laundering. Now coming to the another aspect. When agency says that 14 telephones have been destroyed, and also says that the opinion for the policy, because you are changing the policy, that was an eyewash, and the minister has to be confronted with 3 or 4 officers who have recorded their statement. Now, when one of the officers of the excise department, as a student of law, I understand, when one of the officer who was part of that policy says, and in his recording a statement before the court, says that, look, I was part of that, and it was taken at a time when there was a COVID Delta wave and the suggestions of various stakeholders were involved. And also when it says that the violation of the transaction of business rules, violation of the GNCTD Act, and in order to give benefit to the liquor barons, in order to give benefit to the people whosoever wanted to make profit. And that is why when saying that the profit margin was increased from 5% to 12% in order to ensure some private entities of the LS South group made a profit. And the third is when this investigating agency says that, look, there are other prospective accused persons whosoever have been connived with this, and therefore in order to bring further investigation in the eyes of the law, we want to investigate them now.
And that's why the agencies feel that there is a larger nexus as far as this money trail is concerned, and that's why they need the time. And that's why even when they were asking for extension of custody of Manish Sisodia, this is what sources within the ED were telling us, that their entire plan is actually to get these accused face to face so that these discrepancies can be questioned and can be nabbed. But Tom Bharat, despite all of this, the larger point still being made by the opposition is that how come all these cases are coming only against the opposition leaders and none against within the BJP? Today, Raghav Chadha of the Aam Aadmi Party made an analogy and he compared the BJP to a washing machine. He said, today if K Kavitha or Manish Sisodia actually decide to jump the ship, and you'll see all the cases against them will actually vanish, because this is exactly what the BJP wants. This is just an intimidation tactic and nothing else.
Well, Rithima, the Bharatiya Janata Party is the last party, and it will be the end of our politics if we start admitting these corrupt people like Mr. Chadha wants to believe us. We do not want a Sisodia, or for that matter, this lady Kavitha, or those who are in, or Lalu Prasad, or for that matter. So it is not a question of their joining BJP or not joining BJP. We have a principled position. We are heading towards the election in 2024. We have made a promise of zero tolerance against corruption. cases that have been filed earlier. Investigation is going on. It's a process of law. If an investigation is conclusive in terms of evidences under CRPC 164, evidence is given and it is not followed, I think that will be a serious matter.
Abhay, I know you want to make a point, but unfortunately, I've completely run out of time. I agree with the point that you're making, Tom Barakan. We'll have to leave it there. The agencies are doing their work. They feel there is enough evidence. Opposition feels this is vendetta politics. K Kavitha has been summoned once again, and you have the ED custody of Manish Sisodia till the 17th of March. We'll really have to see how this case progresses. I'd like to thank all our guests. Unfortunately, completely out of time, slipping into a very short break. Thanks a lot for watching.